Hi there, this is David and welcome to our review of Project Crystal, recently released for the PC. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. For the most part, I completely ignore the indie scene. So when one of those games actually reaches my ears, I know that it's probably good. And this one proves that point. Project Crystal is an amalgamation of two great games. It takes the exploration and puzzle solving of 3D dot game heroes and combines that with the job system and turn-based battles of Final Fantasy V, which is one of my favorite games in that series. The beginning takes a page right out of Final Fantasy I's book, insofar as you're introduced to 4 nameless heroes who are assigned to one of 6 job classes, the same job classes that you were given in Final Fantasy I. However, here you are not locked into your classes. You can change them around however you desire whenever you're at a save point. You can also choose the gender of your characters, which pretty much only serves to give small bonuses to certain stats. Then you can also choose your difficulty level. After that, you literally just fall out of the sky and you're told to explore the world. That's it. That's the story. You're not going to be bogged down with needless, endless, inane dialogue that sounds like it came straight from a middle school fan fiction. This is all about exploration and beating some bitches up, and I'm all about it. The world is square and made of blocks, very reminiscent of 3D dot game heroes, and just as in that game, Crystal Project is extremely non-linear. Once you leave the first area, you can pretty much go wherever you want to, as long as you have the strength to handle the enemies. You're going to be jumping all over the place, finding hidden caves, treasures, and secrets strewn about. Unfortunately, you can't really adjust the camera all that much to help with the harder jumps, but mercifully, if you fall into the water or something, you just get to try again. It's completely painless. The open world is seamless, with no loading times to speak of, so you're going to spend the majority of your time just kind of looking around, talking to characters, buying more equipment, finding hidden nooks, and searching for the crystals. The developer did a good job kind of leading to where you're intended to go, but I didn't want to go where I intended to go. I instead went off the beaten path, and I'm glad that I did, because I got the pretty overpowered fencer job right off the bat, which allowed me to kill randoms super easily. But that is the joy of it all. That's what makes it so fun, being able to go where you want to, when you want to, and see what you want to. A minimap will appear only whenever you find the map's region, so if you're anything like me, you're going to be bumbling around without a minimap for quite a bit of time, and then only you're going to find it whenever you're pretty much done exploring the region anyway, which is kind of unfortunate. The on-screen encounters are represented by little flames that kind of chase you around, but they're not all over the place. They're actually kind of sparse, but the combat is just as fun as the exploring. Battles are turn-based, with the turn order gauge like in Final Fantasy X, but it also takes inspiration from some MMOs, where characters generate aggro based upon their attacks, and enemies will focus on the character who has the most aggro. This opens up some new strategies not normally found in JRPGs, such as using warriors to taunt, or having rogues backstab and then ditch their aggro. Spells use MP as normal, but most physical skills take AP. You begin each battle with 0 AP, but it's gained naturally over the course of the battle. You get some just by passing over some turns, attacking, or taking damage, so it is to your benefit to focus on using physical skills pretty often in order to conserve your more limited MP. And that now brings me to the item system. Enemies drop quite a bit of loot, so running out of MP really shouldn't be that big of an issue. In fact, you may have more items that you can use because each item has its own inventory max. Normally only something like 10. However, that max can be increased by collecting pouches. I thought that the system was pretty interesting and I haven't seen it done before. Then, to add to the difficulty, you can't use any items in battles. So there's no cheap mega elixir tactics here. You have to use your head and think on your feet to win these fights. After battles, you're going to be rewarded with experience, gold, and LP. LP stands for learning points, which you need to level up your jobs and the associated skill trees. Remember how in Final Fantasy V you can only equip 2 abilities, and if one was a passive, it would take up your slot? Well, that's not the case here. Each character has 10 passive points, and certain passive abilities like Counter will take up more of those points, like 3. But something more mundane like equipped swords will only take up 1 passive point. So you can mix and match all sorts of different passive abilities on your party members in addition to having a secondary job ability. It's like Final Fantasy V job system, but on steroids. Each region has its own associated crystal, and once you find it and you beat the boss, you're going to unlock one more job class to add to your repertoire, kind of similar to Bravely Default. So what I did was create a rudimentary map of the different zones, and I kind of checked off if I found the settlement to upgrade equipment, and more importantly, if I had found the elusive crystal of the region. And once I did, I moved on to the next region. Each of these zones are unique in their own way with different music, layouts, enemies, elevations, and environments, so nothing feels stagnant. I really felt like I was playing the very first Legend of Zelda crossed with Final Fantasy V, and I was just in heaven. I really can't think of many negative things to say about this game. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. I did feel like the lack of the story was actually a positive though, because I am tired of the dribble that I normally see in indie games anyway. So if I had to pinpoint one thing, it would be that there is no coherent overarching world map that you can just press the select button and look at. Also, you can't fast travel to all the save points. You can only set one save point as your home base, and then kind of warp back to it whenever. Also, the lack of an auto battle feature was kind of a drag too, especially whenever you go back to revisit earlier regions. Maybe they can implement an Earthbound encounter system in a future patch. Lastly, and probably the most egregious, was that you can't just change your jobs in the menu. You have to go to the save point to do that. In a game that revolves around job systems, they really should let you change them in the menu. I mean, you could do that back in Final Fantasy V, and that was released 30-something years ago, so hopefully that can be easily patched in too. This could be the most inventive, fun, and interesting indie RPG that I've ever played, and that's saying something. So I do hope that you enjoy it as well. Have you played it, and what do you feel about it? Let me know in the comments. And if you like what I do here on the channel, please consider joining me over on Patreon for some early access to my videos, coming on over to the Discord to chat and hang out, or joining the Twitch for some wacky streaming fun. The links to them all can be found in the video description, as well as in the comments. I do hope to see you there. And as always, if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.